Indian GICs are on the constant journey of creating higher value add for the headquarters. They are doing this through multiple ways. By attracting niche talent to drive disruptive innovative charters, by setting up centers of excellence, by championing disruptive transformational agenda, as well as setting up incubation centers, innovation labs, as well as DIY garages. Some GICs are also looking at emerging market as well as India market product development from their India centers. As a result, the role of the CFO and COO in India is drastically being evolved from actually being just scorekeepers to strategic business partners, where on one hand, they enable this higher value add for the country, and on the other hand, they try to manage and keep costs in check. Zinnov has been constantly tracking the evolving finance and operations functions, as well as the fluctuating operations cost in the GIC for over 10 years now. In the study that we recently concluded, we had about 50 plus GICs participate across multiple locations in India as well as multiple functions. What is becoming extremely clear is that the cost of operating a GIC in India is consistently growing. Currently, it has grown at 7.5% over the past 3 years and is expected to reach about 33 lakhs per full-time employee by 2020. What is also becoming really clear is the concerted efforts to drive higher efficiencies by both finance and operation leaders in a GIC context. We assessed GICs over 5 large parameters: people, travel, vendor, regulatory, and infrastructure. What we found out was the lion's share was taken by people cost, which is about 70% of the overall operating spend. Infrastructure contributed to about 16%, whereas travel and regulatory contributed to about 5% and vendor contributed to about 4%. What we're really seeing is that although the costs are rising for all of these parameters, there are concerted efforts being put in by GIC leaders to actually try and keep costs in check and improve efficiencies. Take people cost for example. Organizations and leaders are trying to lower people cost by adoption of RPA, which is robotic process automation, by actually eliminating all the tactical and operational work that is being done currently. The second piece, and a recent concept that we are hearing, is pay for performance, where top performers are being paid differentially higher, whereas the budgets for average performers is continuously declining. The third piece, and a great focus area, I must say, is the holistic development of an individual rather than just looking at a compensation. All these 3 parameters are actually helping drive people cost low. Encouraging the use of video conferencing facilities has actually lowered a portion of travel costs significantly. A new evolution to the video conferencing services is the 3D holographic imaging. This technology basically gives you a real lifelike experience, although the person's not really there. One of the major travel costs that is incurred by GICs is to actually create that customer centricity and market centricity within engineers. One of the customers that I recently spoke to had a very innovative solution to this, which actually cuts down travel costs considerably. What they have done is they've created a pod which actually has all the data, all the voice recordings and insights from customer conversations, right, inside that pod. So a typical employee or an engineer actually walks into that pod and accesses all that information, which actually helps develop that design thinking into his product development. Infrastructure cost is being kept in check by utilizing space better, which means condensing workstation areas and focusing more on common areas. The second item here is moving towards tier 2 locations. We've seen several GICs actually make that journey from tier 1 to tier 2 locations, which is giving them not only better cost benefits, but also reduced attrition rates. The third piece here is center consolidation, where multiple centers actually breed inefficiency, and consolidating centers in certain cases actually makes better sense. Regulatory costs are being controlled by factoring in APAs, whereas the last component, vendor cost, is actually being kept in check by moving towards more outcome-based models with service providers compared to the erstwhile time and material models. Cost has become hygiene. The finance function of the future will be expected to deliver value on its own. And we believe the three major enablers for this will be people skills, technology, as well as newer operating models. Let's talk a little bit about it. Under people skills, we believe that more and more newer roles are going to come into the finance function. Examples could be scenario planners, could be in-house technologists, as well as collaboration champions, which will actually start delivering more value by collaborating with multiple teams. The second piece is on operating models. We believe that most finance functions will move towards a global business services kind of a model where there's more synergy between multiple support functions and they deliver higher outcomes out of that. And lastly, technology. Within technology, we believe three major technologies will impact finance and enable it to deliver more value. Blockchain, which will increase transparency and accountability. Analytics for better decision making. And lastly, automation to automate all the tactical and operational work that's out there. In short, we believe the finance function is really entering a really interesting time and a space to watch.